Hey guys, Thursday, May 2nd, 2024. I want to go over Ethereum, but I want to start out different because I haven't done analysis on Ethereum. So this is my top-down approach, pretty much open spectrum. I'm looking at it on the big picture scale. So I'm using futures on Ethereum, or as they call it here, Ether futures. And this is yearly, and this is all maxed. This is the max data I have. Plus, I got 2021, 22, 23, and 24. So you can see we got a high of 49.02 and a low of 994. So those are the key levels using the futures. Here is the quarterly, same thing. Look, we pulled back in April and chucking along, and we're kind of now in between this month or this quarter of 2024. The high of 41.38 and the low is 20.81. This is the monthly. This is where I would put an alert. If it was me trading it, I would put an alert here. An alert is that you put a trigger. If prices climb up all the way over here, you can have it where it kisses the price or closes above, and then it'll trigger and it'll let you know, like a text, an email, whatever. Is like, hey, Ether's right at 37.55. I just want to let you know. Put an alert there on the monthly and an alert on the low. Looks like, we pierced it and bounced, but now this is even better because now if you get triggered again, that means it wants to probably go lower. I mean, I can't see, it could consolidate here if it wanted to, but chances are if it's at the bottom of this range and triggers your alert, you have to just look at the weekly and especially the daily and the smaller time frames and manage your risk. But that will probably be maybe an entry to the downside. But if you take out this high, chances are it's gonna test this high of like 41.48. This is the weekly right here. It's all choppy, but the trend is up. Don't get it twisted. It's up. It looks like it may want to kiss 49.02, but we're assuming that it's just getting choppy. You can see the trend is up. White candles on the weekly. So far is looking good, making higher highs and higher lows. So this is a low. We can't take this low out. So maybe we could, got to take out that high to test this high. So that's pretty much, it's trending. But when you look at the daily, this is what I call the battle zone. So I kind of get fractal. So you could get fractal from here to here, but you're very close to price action. So in my opinion, it's better to give it a little wiggle room for some action. So pick this high of 41.38 and then pick this low of 15.14. And that's what I call the battle zone, the fractal. So you want to focus on this range right here. Give you all the space to see what's going to happen. If it's going to come all the way down here and hold, or if it's going to go all the way up here and fail or continue grinding higher. So that's kind of like the big picture. And you can see that on the short term, which is the daily. Mind you, this is daily, weekly, monthly, quarter, and yearly. And I have all these right at my disposal when I want to look at a stock. No indicators, no Gann, no simple moving average. I just want to see bars, candles. You could put, whatever you want, lines instead of candles, whatever you do. Just look at the whole thing and just kind of be like, okay, so this is where we're at. This is the battle zone. This is the weekly. Pretty much. The low was 994. You can tell that this is it. It's just we don't have that much data. We're only going using on 2021. That's not much, but if you use it, if you look at Ether, in the cryptocurrency settings, you'll probably have more data. So I'm going to work on this because I have all my indicators and everything. So now the next thing I want to go is look at market profile. Look at the monthly. It's using 10 years. Obviously, we don't have 10 years of data, so you can see that the value area high is important. 274, so I'll make a note of that. We already failed the 32.58. On the monthly, we go to the weekly. And we see right here also to 3480. This is a 5-year. You got a value area high up here at 2653. You see the white candle, so the trend is still up. Maybe this is a correction and then another phase higher. We'll see. We haven't even looked at cycle analysis or anything. We're just looking at price action. We got this high up here. We got a point of control right here in the middle. I can already see some support building up around here if it ever gets down there. And if that doesn't hold, you have another one right here, and then you get your midpoint. And also you look at volume, you can see that volume is below the moving averages. And then lastly, the daily. In the daily, I got it narrowed down to 3 months. So this is more, even more fractal, and this is including this correction. So if in this time frame, you see that we're at value area lows. So it hits it, it bounces, it hits it, looks like another bounce. But if we close below 2864 or 2938, it could get a little interesting here. You can look at volume. So that's the second thing I look at. And then I go switch straight into my simple glance chart and look at the monthly. So you can tell that we're, it's bullish. You're above the mobile band. You can see the linear regression channel caused it to, get toppy, pulled back in, kissed it again on the monthly, pulled back in. And now the trend is still up, but now it's kind of it has a full bar. So the body's full, meaning that the trend is kind of getting a little weak here. So just be cautious. And the reason I have that set up, if you put that on a regular, actually, if I take the trend indicator off, let's see, let's take that off. You're going to see with the Heikin-Ashi that the Heikin-Ashi tells you that it's getting weaker or the trend is changing. That doesn't mean it has to change, but it's a way to look at it. So this is just Heikin-Ashi candles with their own color setting. So now it's showing a little weak. So when it gets weaker on the Heikin-Ashi candles by itself, it fills the body up. But with the trend indicator, where is that here? Trend, the trend right here. I put that on. It still lets me know that the trend is still up, but it's now a little weaker. But it keeps me in the color. Once this turns red, then I know it's really turning like here. So I got a little sidetracked there. So MACD is negative on the monthly. MACD is negative on the weekly. We just gone below the zero line. Sentiment got a little hockey stick. We broke the mobile band. So the mobile bands are red. So this is green, and now this is red. PPS sell signal that kicked in on April the 8th. April the 8th, isn't that where the eclipse, solar eclipse? Interesting. It kind of made a high on March 11th, or that week. And then on April the 8th, eclipse day or week, got a PPS sell signal and just kind of chopping around the MOBO, which is... The MOBO is 3164, and we already closed below it for the week. So could it continue? Yep, linear regression channels are pointing up. So this is your midpoint. So yeah, I could find support here. If it ever gets down here, this will probably be more interesting for me. I want to accumulate somewhere around, I don't know, depending by the time it gets down here, anywhere between 20 to 58. Around this area, this could probably be your sweet spot if it gets down here to accumulate, and maybe, the turnaround will play in reverse and continue. On the daily, you're pretty much below the 20 SMA, the 50, and the cloud. The cloud's very important because in the cloud, in the short term, it tells you that there is short-term weakness, and you can see it right here. You can see it right here in the PPSL signal. Market sentiment's down. And you're very kind of choppy, oversold, or not oversold, more like on the lower end of the MACD, getting buy signals and sells. It looks like you got a buy now or a crossover. But definitely more on the weaker side. You failed this key level, which is 3152. That's pretty much the 50% right there. And the future on the cloud looks negative. Linear regression channel is pointing down, so it's telling you that it could probably just kind of go back and forth here until it breaks out of this channel. But the channel is pointing down, telling you that this is where the force or the energy is focusing on. It's downward. So I always tell people use the linear regression channel because it adjusts and it just kind of tells you where the price action is pointing to, and that's where it's pointing down. Let's go to 4 hour. Let's continue here. Maybe this could be a lesson. So remember I said that I'm looking at the fractal, the battle zone. So this is it right here. It's a January low. And a couple of things I put, you could put the Andrews pitchfork, and now I'm focusing, since it's downward, is making lower lows and lower highs. Hasn't made a new low here, but I'll be watching for this channel here in your midpoint. You can see that here it caught it really good and pulled back, and it's catching it here. So maybe it'll break here and it'll catch this one, and it'll do that until it's ready to either break down here or break to the upside and break this channel to test this high of 4138. So that's the Andrews pitchfork, and I only put two here. I put this one called retrace and channel. So this is the channel from here to here, and it pivots here on a 4 hour chart. And this is showing me my midpoint here. It's different from the Andrews pitchfork. You can see that this one didn't catch that one here. Kind of caught this one. So this one I put, and then my retrace levels, and these are all Gann ratios, except the 16ths. That's going to be too much for me and for my eyes. But pretty much is your midpoint. You got your 75, 25, a little, levels here, 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 and here. There's a little open gap here. And I'm looking to see if we could hold always a 50% or retrace back above it. And so far we oscillated here and failed. So if we continue pushing lower, this is a good area to see if it holds. And this one is your 25%. Lastly, my midpoint chart. You can see, what's interesting about Ethereum is that it moves and it moves. It goes to all these like bigger levels that I have. Like on the weekly, the purple. Normally the purple holds or doesn't get to the purple on the weekly, depending if there's a lot of movement. But on Ethereum, you can tell that it does. And it goes through the purple on the weekly. So sometimes on the weekly, it could be like, okay, we need to hold this midpoint. And these are your extreme targets. Sometimes I just have these on the upper hand. So it looks like it can make it and even continue. So that's something, in its DNA that it could really move and pass even these levels. But so far on the yearly, you're above your midpoint, which is here, oscillating between this 3076 and this level right here of 2763, which we haven't kissed. And on your monthly, you are below your midpoint. That's why it's red. And that's your 3310. In order for the monthly to get bullish, you need to close above 3310. But so far, it's at the bottom of the range. If it was to, trend higher, I'll watch out for 3089. That's your 25%. If it fails here, it could probably push lower and maybe even kiss that. But we'll take baby steps. For the weekly, you're below the midpoint, and that's why it's red. Your midpoint on the weekly. So, starting if I was doing analysis, and you guys would have been like, okay, I would have been like, hey, if you guys close below 3181, you got to go short because that's your midpoint. So if you didn't catch this bar, you definitely will catch that one, or put a sell signal right here at the 25%. You can see that it broke the extreme level to the downside. Like if I was trading this, I probably would have locked in profit here. But you can see that it even pushes even lower. And there was nothing down here, unless you look maybe the square of 9. And I haven't even used the square of 9 on this. So keep in mind on that. So far, I guess for this week, let's see if this holds 25.97 and you're at a pivot high around 30.14. If it goes higher, your target would be somewhere around 3070 here. And if it's the 25%, which is 3126. And lastly, this is the daily level. So we're below here. We came down here. This was I don't know, what is it? Wednesday. This is probably Wednesday. This is Thursday. Yep. So Thursday you were above the midpoint, which was 29.29. So I don't have the VWAP here. So this would have been a situation where you probably would have gone long. As long as it was above the VWAP, gone long here. And you kiss this high here, maybe lock in profit. But if it's going to go higher, targets to the upside would be 30.54 all the way to 30.85 right up here. If you're scalping or whatever. But so far, you need to hold for tomorrow 29.60. If it goes below 29.60, the probabilities are higher and you're below the VWAP that you're going to either kiss 28.97, 28.68, and your last leg will be 28.36. I think that's it. I just want to do a little quick video on this. I'm going to look at the cycle because I know the cycles on Bitcoin and they're toppy here. But I don't know what Ethereum is going to show, so it's going to be interesting. Once I do that, I may do a video this weekend on that, or I might just hold back and just look at it and then just kind of do analysis here and there. Hopefully you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on Ethereum.